To my gamers and gamettes, man, it's about that time to go ahead and talk about it, man. If y'all know who I am Kano, the brutally honest gamer. Let's go ahead and dive straight into this video, man. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, right? So I went back into the old days and reminisce about the games that was there that we all love near and dear to us back on the PlayStation 2, GameCube, and the OG Xbox. Y'all remember when EA actually had the Moncler EA Sports Big, and they had some of them classic hitters on that sports department like the NBA Streets, NFL Streets, SSX, the Freestyle, the Def Jam games, just to name a few. Yeah, so let's go ahead and dive back into it, right? So we all do know that EA has currently acquired Metalhead Studios, the same studios that actually did Super Mega Baseball, and then not only that, they already have Need for Speed in that situation. Then they got Cold Masters with their games, or mainly their racing games, right? So I'm thinking to myself right now, and I know y'all could agree with me. EA, it's time to bring back officially EA Sports Big. And they technically are in a way. They haven't announced it yet, but you already see writing this on the wall. They do see a market in the arcade department. And it's well needed at this point because if you look at 2K games, right? They put out NBA Playgrounds, or NBA 2K Playgrounds 2 at this point, right? And the game did well on both departments. NBA Playgrounds, the first one, sold dang near 1 million. NBA 2K Playgrounds 2 sold about like 2-3 million copies. So they see that there is actually revenue there, and also it has a market for arcade style sports games. And Need for Speed still selling like hotcakes, and that's more of an arcade style racing game. If you think about it, with car customization and the way they have the nitro and the way you drifting, it's really more into that arcade style racing game. So let's go ahead and let me backtrack for a second, right? So when I was a kid, right, and having these childhood memories playing games like the NBA Street, the first NBA Street I played, it was NBA Street Volume 2. I did play the first NBA Street, but it was after I played NBA Street Volume 2, right? Where the game had a lot of combinations where you could do some fire dribbling moves, where the game breaker was actually fire, the way you can do like multiple alley oops. You feel me? And then NFL Street, where it's kind of like, it's the football version of NBA Street in a way where the way you throw the ball, the wall running, the way the game breaker is on there, it was just phenomenal. And not only that, with SSX, where it was an arcade snowboarding game where you could do multiple tricks in the air, get the tricky, especially SSX tricky, you feel me? Doing multiple tricks, doing the multiple races. It was just a phenomenal game back in the days where you just pick up the controller and you wouldn't want to put that game down. You would want to play that game for hours on end because how fun the game was back in the day. And not only that, Def Jam Fight for New York and Def Jam Vendetta also. But Fight for New York was the one that like took the cake with that, you know what I'm saying? Where you customize your character in a way, you get to choose your fighting style. You get to go through a story with D-Mob against Snoop Dogg, aka Crow, and then with Fat Joe and Busta Rhymes on Crow's side, and you got Redman, Method Man, then Sticky Fingers before he turned on you. You know what I'm saying? Those are the type of games that really bring back childhood memories. And at this point, when it comes down to it with EA, it's really about that time to really bring it back. The fans been asking for these games for years. We haven't seen a NBA Street game since NBA Street Home Court. That was in 2007, and I believe in 2007. My fault. I apologize. And then you look at Def Jam Icons, which was a disaster of a game that was like a year later in 2008. So if they're gonna bring back EA, they're going to have to do it right, because at this point right now, EA Games, or actually EA Sports, is in a disaster of its own, because if you think about it, Madden hasn't been good for years. You look at NBA Live, you don't see that anywhere. And then you look at FIFA, they going through a little debacle right now because of the name FIFA, and now they changing up the whole ordeal. It's really a market in the arcade style of sports games right now. People really miss the games in that way. People really do miss conducting all these game burgers. And you remember when? Do y'all really remember when on NBA Street Volume 3 where they had the dunk contest and it was like a real like unique way of was doing the dunk contest? That was just hella dope back in the days. You feel me? You get to play with Allen Iverson and doing some crazy dunks, and then on NBA Street you playing with Picky Littles, then you playing with Stretch, then you got Dimes, and you got all the other like characters that was in the game and doing these little tournaments and just building your rep up and kind of like creating your character and all that. That was actually fun back in the days on NBA Street Volume 3, man. You know what I'm saying? That was one of my favorites. I think the best two to me was NBA Street Volume 2 and NBA Street Volume 3. I did like Home Court, but Volume 3 and Volume 2 was actually the best. I'm a little bit more on Volume 3 because I like the way that they changed up a lot of things and it made it like fire, right? But NFL Street 3 wasn't all that good, but like NFL Street Volume or NFL Street 2 was actually fire back in the day. You feel me? And FIFA Street was fire too, but I digress. But what I'm saying at this point with EA though, it really is a market in that sense. You feel me? Because if you let's say if Metalhead Studios actually works on a new football game, because you know EA has the license for the NFL license, right? So they can go ahead and make an NFL football game. Hell, they could make it into like NFL Street, you know what I'm saying? Because people want that. People want that arcade style football game back. You feel me? But the main thing is people really want an NBA Street game or reboot or something. You feel me? So fast forward to what we saw in 2021 after the acquisition of Metalhead Studios and Codemasters and whatnot. We're looking at the statistics by it. They are in serious talks about bringing, like, expanding the division of EA Sports. Now, if this is to be, they're saying that there's a possibility that it might be announced late 2022, early 2023. Hell, hopefully, I hope they announce it around the time E3 is around. You know, E3 is canceled, but around the E3 time. Hopefully, they announce something in that way. Hell, because we haven't heard anything from Metalhead Studios since they last dropped the Super Mega Baseball 3 game, so we don't know anything about it. Hopefully we hear something about it. If they do, the first game that they need to go ahead and make, or the first two games that they need to make, is NBA Street. It could be NBA Street officially Volume 4 instead of Home Court, because that wasn't considered a volume. That was just a side game of its own. NBA Street Volume 4 or a reboot, or bring back the SSX tricky style of game. That would be worthwhile. It don't have to be called EA Sports Big, but it could be another division that has that expansion that's dedicated to arcade style sports games, and bring back games on the levels of a Def Jam Fight for New York style game. That's what the people want. That's what we need. We want to relive them childhood memories again, and that's a proven fact. You feel me? And if they go ahead and do that, if EA actually goes ahead and bring back that expansion of something on their levels of EA Sports Big, then they will win their fans back, because ever since that EA Sports Big has gone away, they really lost sight of a lot of things. Like the SSX, the 2013 reboot, that was a tragedy of its own. You know, don't get me wrong, it wasn't a bad game, but it wasn't a good game. Then we haven't, like I said, we haven't seen an NBA Street game since NBA Street Home Court, and that was in 2007. Then you look at NFL Street, we haven't seen that in a while. Then FIFA Street, last time we seen that was on the 360, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember, but like what I'm saying though, they will win their fans back over in a heartbeat if they do this. And I feel like it will be the right move for EA to make. Not only that, the only thing we'll say outside of this though, they do need to bring back an NBA Live, because NBA 2K needs competition right now, because NBA 2K sucks at this point. And that's just a fact. So, comment below, and this is what I'm saying to y'all, comment below what was y'all memory of EA Sports Big in y'all's time playing these arcade style games, and what would y'all want to see in the future if that's the case of EA Sports bringing that expansion to life to have that EA Sports Big element back. So let me know. Like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell when I drop videos. And on a side note, I will be dropping the next episode of Should We Be Worried very soon. And I do have an episode on EA about that soon too. So with that being said, I'm out. Peace.